All right, so I think that's it. All right, so welcome to Real Talk, and let's just put our hands together as we welcome our panelists. All right, so we are so grateful for a great panel tonight, and so I again am your host, Jamar, and welcome to Real Talk. And so I am excited for this opportunity that we have to have real conversation regarding so much that is going on within our community and so much in our individual lives. So tonight's segment that we're going to discuss is particularly focusing on mental health. And so when we think about mental health and what that means to us individually and collectively in our society, in our world, in our country, mental health is at an all-time high. I personally believe that one of the reasons that mental health is at an all-time high is because we're just now, a lot of people are beginning to accept what it really is, and that it's real. I know that we are in a church, and this is not a religious segment, but allow me to say this: you can have a therapist and have Jesus. And so we're now getting to the point where we realize it's okay to have that. And so I don't want to go too far with my comments, but mental health is important. And so our whole focus tonight is to have transparent conversation, to have real conversation, and we hope that someone will be enlightened, someone will be encouraged, someone will be touched regarding what we discussed tonight. So what we'll do first is we're going to introduce our panelists. And so what I'm going to ask, we're trying to keep this as unprogrammed and stuffy as possible. So I'm going to ask if our panelists would introduce themselves and tell us something that you would like for us to know about you. So we'll begin with our first panelist, Christina, and we'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Christina Cobb-Ford. I attend St. Mary's Real Baptist Church. I am a nuclear medicine technologist. I work at the hospital, and I've been doing that for the past 14 years. I am a wife and a mother of 4 kids, and I love the Lord, but I have anxiety. So that's one thing I want everybody to know.
My name is Alicia Massey, or a lot of people know me as Alicia Green. I currently am a medical office assistant with UNC. I am a caretaker to my mom, and I don't have any kids, but I do and have struggled with depression and anxiety, as well as OCD, for many years.
Hello everyone, I am Latasha Cofield. I'm a mom of 4. I'm a wife, a first grade teacher with Harvey County Public School System. And I'm from right here in Apex my entire life. I struggle with depression and PTSD from grief and the loss of my mom.
My name is Tiffany Gaddis. I am originally from Durham, North Carolina, by way of Washington, D.C. I went to Howard University, HU, you know. My background is in nursing. I'm now in clinical trials. I travel for a living, which also causes anxiety. So that's what I deal with on a daily basis.
So thank you so much, ladies, for introducing. So as you can see, to our audience, we have a plethora of backgrounds and different walks of life. And so I just want to kind of start the conversation off like this, and I really want this to be a conversation, not a stuffy program segment. So when we look at America, in this great country that we live in, and we really pride ourselves on being free. America is free. We're in the land of freedom. We believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We think about the American dream. I think it's 2.5 kids, a white picket fence, and all of that. So when we think about that and the image that we were kind of programmed to kind of believe in school, if I may say so. How do you think that has changed, or has that changed for you since you have become an adult? Is it real? Is it false? Or what are your thoughts regarding that?
Absolutely, it's not real. It is not real. I think that a picture is painted of this perfect life. I know growing up, I wanted the Cosby family. I wanted that Cliff Huxtable and that Claire and those good kids, and I wanted that love and it was TV. It was TV. And that's what I wanted. Unfortunately, I grew up in a home of abuse. And so when I looked at that and then looked at my life, I'm like, why can't I have that? Why am I going through this? So a picture, of course, is painted that it's supposed to be perfect, but it's not. It's not perfect. And it's just something that I've struggled with for trying to be like what people think we should be.
I know for me, it's the idea that life is going to be smooth sailing. You know, you do this, you do that, and therefore your life is going to just go as planned. You know, as you grow up, they say go to school, get your education, get a job, be able to provide for your family. But what happens when those things don't happen? What happens whenever you set these expectations up for yourself and they don't happen? And so I think a lot of times now, even more now, people have their phones, and so they're looking at YouTube and they're looking at TikToks and they're looking at Facebook, and you can portray anything on those platforms. And so a lot of people think, oh, this person has it just great, but not knowing the backstory to everything that's going on in their life. So again, I agree. It's what is perceived is not necessarily what it is.
I was gonna piggyback off of that. I was gonna actually say the same thing. People place their expectations on you. Therefore, that creates this pressure for you to be like, well, maybe I do have to be this way. Maybe I do have to be this way. Maybe I do have to show up in this space. What am I doing wrong? Because everybody's pressuring me to be this, so I have to be this. And then that creates a whole nother issue, people's expectations, and then that puts pressure on ourselves.
I agree with that, and I feel like not only was the expectation there, but because we're gonna be real, right, Jamal? Okay. So in Black families, a lot of things that you dealt with had to be swept under the rug. You didn't talk about it. You couldn't bring it up to anybody. So then you grow up and you realize, wait a minute, I'm still dealing with that. I'm still thinking about that. I realized in therapy just maybe 2 weeks ago, my parents separated when I was 19. That still bothered me to this day. I never dealt with it. I swept it under the rug. And I think that too is what makes you feel like the expectation was not there just because you didn't deal with it. You couldn't deal with it. Back then we were supposed to be seen and not heard. So because we were seen and not heard, you could not say, this bothered me. I don't like this. And so now you get to be an adult, those things, you get triggers. That's where anxiety comes from.
So I've heard, and I think a lot of you have heard the same thing, what goes on in this house stays in this house. So in my experience, I get the general connotation of it, right? We don't air our dirty laundry. We can fight among ourselves as family members, but we can't let the world know that that's what's going on. But as we have gone, as time has advanced, and looking at our culture and our society and what is going on within our individual communities, how has that mentality affected you? And I think how has that mentality affected? Because I think it has affected us. I think it has affected workplace. I think it has even affected our places of worship. I think it has affected how we look at each other in Target. Matter of fact, right now, I think the blackout is still going on, maybe, I don't know. but it makes us kind of look a little, we're more uptight, and we're I think we have to paint this narrative, and we have to put on this face, and we say it like this: everything's okay. I'm good. Even when I'm falling to pieces, I'm good. Even when I'm a zero, I'm good. So how has that, if it has, affected you, that what goes on in this house, David, in this house?
I would say, growing up, my father, both my parents said that would go on, and that it made me be really reserved. So when there was something wrong, Tiffany was wrong, nothing, I'm okay, nothing. So it translated as I became an adult, nothing's wrong, I got it, it's okay, I'm fine. And so it translated, and then you begin to internalize so much, and then so many other things come out. And then that's when all these disorders start to step in, because you were always taught to just keep it in.
I think too, it also affected communication, or the way you communicate with people. Because if you've been taught to internalize, you don't express yourself. You keep all that bottled up. Then it's too late. I explode. Because again, we need to be seen and not heard. We weren't taught to communicate. And nowadays we try to be, like with my children, for instance, I try to let them explain to me how something makes them feel. But I can still feel my mama in the back of my head, like, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? But it's a battleground where I'm trying to break that curse of not knowing how to communicate, not letting children, trying to get rid of that and let them speak, but at the same time teaching you, okay, watch how you say it to me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it affected the most for me, is communication.
I know with me, to kind of piggyback on that, it's have a hard time parenting, because I want to allow them to express themselves, but I also don't want others to feel like I'm not disciplining them because I'll allow them to. And I also want it to be a boundary. I want them to come to me and tell me anything. It's one thing I tell my daughter, and I say, Grayson, what does mommy tell you? I can tell mommy anything. Whether mommy gets mad, whether mommy is happy, you can tell mommy anything. And keeping that, But on the other hand, I don't want her to just be coming up to me, talking to me in any kind of way, because we had that type of relationship. And I think a lot of that is how I was raised. It was, again, you're seen, you're not heard, or you listen, and you don't have to like what I tell you to do, but you don't do it, And I feel like you have to have a balance of that with your kids, so it can be kind of tough.
So there's trauma, I think, that has been created because we were silenced from being who we really were, and because of the culture in the society that we. I don't believe you cannot look at the outside of a home and tell what's going on the inside. And many times we try to say, "Oh, John Doe, they drive this, they drive. Oh, they've got it," and many times it's completely opposite. And even when we look at real TV, Real Wives of Atlanta, and New York, and LA, whatever, all these real shows, Love and Hip Hop, and when we look at that and look at all that social media brings brings into our lives. Instagram is literally shade room. Just all of these that we didn't have 20 plus years ago. There was no TikTok, there was no Snapchat, there was no Instagram, there was, I don't know, what was it before Facebook? It was MySpace. So before those days, we didn't have those outlets. But from what you have stated, what has been said, to me it feels like because we have been silenced, we have been forced to be placed in traumatic situations, and we have no voice. So it's almost to say, and sometimes not intentionally, because I believe that when you look at the household and our parents, they looked at how their parents raised them, and they, and so we're not parents. You did a great job, you did an excellent job but when we look at it from this standpoint, because our kids these days, and these kids want to know why. And when they ask why, I've learned it's not from a disrespectful standpoint. It is they literally want to know why. But when we were coming along, you didn't ask why, because why meant disrespected. But this generation or the generation behind us, our kids are asking why, because they really want to know, why does this, please explain to me so I can govern myself accordingly. But getting back to the trauma, I believe that because of the silence and I'm okay and do as you're told and all of that, it has created trauma within our individual lives that have caused us to have to address these issues. And so I was reading a stat that says that 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental illness every year. All right, so that, okay, one in 5, that maybe that's not a lot, but let me go a little bit further. All right, we're still going to go to the trauma point. So y'all, I'm going to take the scenic route, but I'm going somewhere, right? I'm going to take 5 for it. Let's go 55, okay? Black Americans, 20% more likely. Now, if we be honest, this platform tonight, while this is not, let me just be transparent, this is not a black, mental health does not care whether you're black or white. It does not care whether you're male or female. It does not care if you have faith. You can be an atheist, so this is not a, opportunity to say, okay, but since all of you are female and all of you are from the African American community, Black Americans are 20% more likely, on top of the 1 in 5, 1 out of the 5, Black Americans are 20% more likely to experience psychological distress, but far less likely to receive treatment. How do you feel about someone that has that trauma, but does not get the treatment? And we know there's various reasons for treatment. It could be financial stability, et cetera, or it could be we don't believe in that, right? But how do you feel about the whole treatment when you have dealt with trauma? You know that the trauma is real, but we're forced to function in dysfunction.
I think it's become expected in a way. And what I mean by that is the Black community, you are to be strong. You are to endure. You are to be able to push through any obstacle that you are faced with. And so, yes, I have trauma, but I still got to keep going. And so a lot of that toughness that we grew up with, where you say not heard, don't say anything, but a lot of that is, okay, you learn how to, okay, I don't like this, but I'm gonna be quiet and I'm just gonna keep pushing. I can keep going to help with our endurance of what we can take. And so I feel like we don't seek help because we feel like it's normal. That's where we live, right? We live in that distress every day and we just keep going no matter what we face. And a lot of times we don't even realize that we've had trauma. We just feel like this is how life is supposed to be.
I was that person. I was the person who I knew that I was depressed and having anxiety, but I would not seek help. I just recently, only 3 years in, seeing a therapist. And my thing was, I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy. I don't want God to think that I don't have faith in Him. What they gonna say about me? What if somebody knows? It was all of that until I was on the edge, literally hanging on for dear life. Is when I said, I have got to get help. I can't do it by myself.
Like, I am actually back in school, and I just did a paper on Black women and mental health, because while I advocate for all women, Black women that's my passion. And it said that 60% of Black women need some sort of mental therapy, but only 12% seek mental therapy for all those various reasons. Back in, when my grandma was raising my mom and my uncle and my aunts, everybody always talked about how strong my grandma was. She was strong. While I think she was strong, I think that was all she had. They didn't have the resources that we have now to get help. So when I lost my mom, that was my thought. But I am having thoughts. I don't understand. I don't want people to think I'm crazy, because that's what we were taught. Your cousin over here was crazy. No, my cousin had a mental issue. But again, we push that under the rug too. So when I, kind of like you, was on the verge, I had suicidal thoughts. after losing my mama, because I kept thinking, I can't do this without my mama. Until, I was I remember one day I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this bed. I was in the bed for days, just laying there. But somebody's gonna think I'm crazy. And I called my godmother, who is a first lady in the church, and I knew the first thing she was gonna say is, we're gonna pray. We're gonna pray. And we did. And we prayed. And then I kept saying, God, please help me. I literally don't want to be here. And I remember my little girl, my youngest daughter, she ran in the room. Mama, you want to play? Instant, I got to get some help. Because there's no way those little girls can feel the way I feel if I'm not here. I can't do that. I got to get some help. So I think that with Black women, we've been taught that we are so strong, but we're not. And we don't. And the thing is I like about my generation, we learn we don't have to be. You don't have to be strong. It's okay to let somebody help you. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm not okay. And I think that is what I love the most about my generation, is that I think my grandma raised my mom with the best that she had. I think my parents raised me with the best that they had. I think my husband and I are raising our kids the best that we have, and I hope it keeps going. And I hope it just gets better. I hope that my children are better than me mentally.
So trauma is, and I can't get away from this because we're talking about, getting to the point, right? So you're going through whether it's depression, anxiety, bipolar, it's a lot out there, right? So you're dealing with it, and you're forced to say, I'm okay, and you're not okay, because you do not want to be labeled as that person, right? Especially if you are saved, right? Because we're not supposed to be weak. We're always to be strong because our God is, and He is. But we have weak moments, and to the point of someone just, I don't know if it was Tasha or Alicia said, being okay with saying I'm not okay, right? Understanding, but it seems like a common thread from what I've heard is that you've experienced some type of trauma, right? So trauma happens, whether, in whatever form. And so you live with the trauma, some of us for decades. Everybody's trauma is not the same. And while you're suppressing your feelings, suppressing the hurt, suppressing the anger, suppressing the frustration, suppressing the, whatever else you're feeling, you're forced to try to normalize yourself even when you don't feel normal. Your thoughts are not normal. Your mood swings are not normal. Your attitude is off. But there's nothing that seems to be, it's kind of like you take a bottle of soda and you shake it up, and if you shake it up and you take the top off, you got an explosion. So it's kind of like, because we keep going through life and not dealing with it, we're never able to release some of that pressure. So we walk around until we explode. So whether that means we end up in the ER, whether that means we end up having a literal, we run into a brick wall. Some have had heart attacks, some have had strokes, some have had where they literally, their minds have snapped. So if you can, with your journeys that you've had in different walks of life, what made you finally, and I think you've alluded to the fact, or talk about it somewhat, but what made you realize I've got to take a step for me and stop allowing others to write my narrative? I have the access to only me, myself. I am responsible for my narrative, me and God. So I cannot allow you to write out my story. I have to do what works best for me. So what made you realize I need to take a step in another direction or do something in addition to what has already been done so that I can be the best self that I can be? What step did you take? I know Tasha talked about reaching out to a godmother, but what are some things? Because I'm pretty sure that some people in the audience that may have the same things, or people that they know. What do you do when you hit that rock, when you hit that wall? Because if you want to live, you got to figure out something. Because if you don't, mental health, let's just be honest, mental health will kill you. It may not happen like that, but over time, the mind is so strong that the mind, we've been talking about strong church, and I'm not using, anyway, but we were talking about how the fact that the mind is so strong that a woman that's not pregnant, because her mind will convince her that she is pregnant, she will go through hormonal changes that will convince her, y'all know, we got kids in here, but you know what I'm talking about, to convince her that she's pregnant when she really is not. The mind is a strong entity. And so, as a man thinking, so we think, so we are what we think. So what made you take a step and say, I need to do this for me?
I know for me, it was right after I got out of school, nuclear school, there wasn't a lot of jobs available. And so I finally was able to get a job, and I was able to go to different sites to work. And the one place that had the most hours for me to work was the supervisor, who was just on my back about everything. And I would get to a point when I would get ready to go there that I would have an anxiety attack. Just the thought of being there, because I felt like I had to prove myself to this woman because she feels like I'm not capable, I'm inadequate. And I said, at this point, I can't continue to let my situations around me dictate how my mood is going to be, dictate how I feel about myself. So that's what prompted me to say, hey, let me see if it's me, what I need to do to help me get myself together so that I'm able to function. Because at the end of the day, I gotta work. I still gotta make money, to live. And so that's the daily battle that, I particularly face, is those anxieties that stare you right in the face every single day. Going to work, something that simple. Driving your car. That was a huge thing for me. Getting in my car and driving down the road, I was afraid that I was gonna get in an accident. And every time I would get in the car, I would feel that way. So then I'm like, I have to get a grip. I gotta get some type of control, because if not, it will spiral, and it will spiral really quickly.
I think for me, I turned 30 years and years ago, and I was fine. I know most people have that pivotal moment when they turn 30, and they're like, oh God, that's when they break down. But 30, I was like, oh, this could be a good time. Turned 31, and I was like, something's not right. I don't feel like myself. I'm looking in the mirror and I don't recognize who this is. Like, who are you? Where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you feeling this way? What's wrong? And that was the pivotal moment for me. I said, something's not right. I don't want to feel like this anymore. So that's when I went and got help, because I didn't really know what it was. And if I may, can I pose a question to you? I don't know what we're saying. No. I'm not sure that I've had an anxiety attack, but I do get very anxious, like in crowds, even in driving, in certain situations. Like I told you guys, I travel for a living. Waking up and not knowing exactly, do I have to catch a plane today? Where do I have to be today? What hotel, what city am I in? So I wake up anxious in that way. So can you guys describe the differences in an anxiety attack and like being anxious? If I may, I don't want to overstep, I really don't.
No, please.
I'm kind of like you were, like when I first started experiencing panic attacks and anxiety attacks. I was just feeling that like anxious feeling. So, you just think, okay, I'm just, I got a lot to do, and I got, mine comes almost like someone is sitting on my chest. I can't breathe. I can't get a grip. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. Something's gonna happen. Something bad is gonna happen. It's like you're losing control. Yeah. You're shaking, and it happens differently for everybody. Yours may not be that extreme. Mine may be different from Tasha's or from Christina's. But anytime you are overly anxious and you cannot get control of your feelings, it's likely panic. There's anxiety and then there's panic. Anxiety may be what you're experiencing, where it's just anxiousness, right? You have so much going on in your mind that it's hard to think, okay, what do I do next? Panic, it feels like you're literally dying. That is panic. You cannot catch I have had it so bad at night, especially. I wake up and I'm literally choking. So that is the difference, right? So it's anxious anxiety, and then there's panic attack.
And if I may, can I? But I remember in 2006, and I told you I would, but because literacy is I think the first step. We all have to, whether we're dealing with it or not, we all have to face it. This is a reality in the world that we live in. I know in 2006, I was in church, and we were Star Hope in Sanford, and I felt fine that day, and so we're in church, and we were actually in the pastor's office, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of off, maybe, yeah. So, Elder Hayden, he said, maybe you need to drink some, maybe dehydrate, so I was like, maybe I'm dehydrated. I'm in the service, and I can literally see I'm standing still, but I can see myself kind of starting. I'm like, okay, what's going on? This ain't going on. And I remember when they said someone had a stroke. Someone in the church recently had a stroke. My grandfather had a stroke in June, okay, which was like my dad. That was my dad. My grandfather was my dad. He raised me. I'm Cobb Strong because of James Arthur Cobb Jr. And so when I go back, I realized that the strongest man that I knew became weak because he had a stroke. I then took on that mentality that because the strongest man that I know had a stroke, then I too am susceptible to having a stroke. And what happened is I left the church, left the pulpit, went outside. Now I'm saved. I'm preaching, right? So I get in my car, and there's a gas station right there in front of the church. And so, it's like, okay, let me get something to drink. Well, I grabbed a Dr. Pepper, and that was the worst thing I could grab because now my heart is like boom, 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 boom. They're like, we need to call somebody. They called paramedics. And it's like, okay, sit down. And in my mind, I'm saying to myself, I'm about to die. My right side is going out. And I say to myself, I literally say to myself, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die standing up. I am not going to sit here and listen to these folks and say, sit down and calm down. I'm going to die standing up. That's what I said to myself. That's the pride. At least I'm going to die. They're going to say that he didn't fall until he died. And so I'm standing up. So paramedics come, and I'm out on pink shirt, and we laugh about it now. So I get in meat wagon, as I call it, but in the ambulance. And I get in the back, and the lady says, Mr. Cobb? I said, yes. She says, if you just calm down, your muscles will relax. And as I calmed down, they got me hooked up to EKG and all this, they did do all this stuff. And my hand was like this. It relaxed. So I had to tell myself, you're okay. So you go through a fight or flight.
Yes.
Where the body says, okay, there's something going on and you gotta do something. And so the fact that you have not did anything, it makes you do something. And as a result, it can come in the form of, feel like you have a stroke, heart attack, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So I can just speak that for me, but I'm curious to the point, I don't want to go over anyone else, but with what you just stated, Tiffany, on these planes, one just went down yesterday, the Hudson River. I think it was a helicopter, matter of fact. How do you manage, and we're going to come back to but how do you manage a career that says you got to be not in a different town, but a different state, and you got to get on a plane because you got to be there by a certain time. This is your itinerary, but planes are constantly going down. How do you manage your everyday life?
Ooh, I'm still trying to figure that out, to be honest. It's stressful. Here, as of late this year, it's been really, really stressful. Lots of prayer. It might sound cliche, and I don't want to be churchy, but I always feel like when I'm in the air, I'm the closest to God physically. So I'm not that person that turns on Wi-Fi and watches movies. I literally would just sit, close my eyes, just talk to God, look at the clouds. So that's when I feel the closest. But as of late, it's I get very anxious. One day the pilot, and typically before this I would be fine, unless there was terrible turbulence. But as of late, this was probably like last month, the pilot got on, he said, he was running late, so the plane was late, we were pushing back at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And he said, guys, I'm sorry, I'm late. My plane coming in was late, so I had to get here as fast as I could. He said, but what I will not do is push this plane back without doing these maintenance checks. So I'm sorry, I know it's late, but I'm not pushing back unless we're safe, and I have to know that we're safe. So that alone put me on alert, like, oh gosh, like it was thunderstorms and all kinds of stuff. So how I deal with it, definitely prayer, without being churchy. And again, I just have to talk to myself. I guess as far as exercises are concerned, we talked about the panic attacks or anxiety attacks. I'll talk to myself in my head, like, you're okay, you're fine, everything's okay,
Right.
you're right here, and I'll breathe. I do I just make myself take in like deep breaths, and close my eyes and just kind of sit, like you said, kind of center myself, just kind of relax, and just say, and also I just have this running joke, like, if the plane's going down, there's nothing I can do about it. It's just God's will for my life, and this is gonna be what it is. And there's a safety kind of in knowing that. Some people may not think so, but it's just like there's nothing I can do. I can't fly the plane, I can't save it. So it just is what it is. So that's kind of how I'm still working through it, but those are kind of the things that I deal with when it comes to it. But it is very, very nerve-wracking. Now, I have to fly out tomorrow, so we'll see.
Anybody else want to talk about? I know I kind of just derailed the conversation about. No. You know. I think your question was very important because we need to know, like, okay, what am I experiencing? But to the point of, does anyone else want to talk about their experience with anxiety and how you knew, like, okay, whether the clinical diagnosis or whatever, let you know that I'm experiencing a panic attack. Or anxiety, blah, 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 and I need to get help. Does anyone else I didn't want to overstep anyone else with that.
I think the panic attack started very young for me, with being anxious and always worrying about what's gonna happen. Oh my gosh, it's always been that. What my moment for knowing that I need to see a therapist is when I became very withdrawn. Anxiety, depression, bipolar, whatever, it does not have a look. It doesn't have a look. The strongest person can be going through. It's like having a mask on, and then when you're alone, the mask is off. And I was becoming very withdrawn, like a hermit. I wouldn't leave my room. I would stay with the blinds closed. I did not want to be bothered. I did not want to talk to anyone. And I would literally go to work, smile, put on a mask, come back home, go straight upstairs, put my night clothes on, and it's not even dark outside. And I'm in bed. And I was like, if I were to die today, if I were to take my life, who would miss me? I felt like nobody would miss me. Who's gonna miss me? Let me just go ahead and get it over with. That way, the pain that I'm feeling, the depression that I'm feeling, I won't have to feel it anymore. And I said then, I've got to get some help. I'm dangling, I'm holding on to a mountain and my feet are dangling. If I let go, it's over. I have got to get some help. And I found my therapist. And although I'm still working through, and although it's been 3 years, I have learned that it's not a quick fix. It's not a quick fix. If you are planning to seek therapy, which I suggest that you do, if you are going through, get you a therapist. It's okay not to be okay. Get you a therapist. But know, when you go into therapy, that it's not a quick fix. It can take a year or it can take the rest of your life. And so that's what I had to learn. It's not a quick fix. It's not. I have 46 years of built up depression, anxiety, all of this stuff. maybe not 46, but you know what I'm saying. I have all of this that I have to work through. So it's not a quick fix.
My dad was saying the same thing. He said, Tiffany, at the time I was 31, he was like, you dealt with 31 years of these things. It's not gonna be fixed in 31 days. Because I messaged him, I was like, so tired of coming here and crying every week and crying. He said, if you didn't come in here and cry, I think something, then we had a problem.
Right.
So he was like, no, we're undoing things from 31 years ago. So it takes time, and it is a process. So you just have to be patient, be committed. That was the one thing he told me also. You have to be, if you commit to the process, I got you.
I was having a conversation actually on the way here about depression. And it was a good dialogue we were having about depression. And it was stated, well, what if someone doesn't want to deal with you because you have that depression? And I said, well, the thing about depression is you isolate anyway. Because not only do you, maybe you don't want to deal with me, I don't want to deal with you.
Right.
That's the part of depression, you isolate. And now for me, I was always out, with my friends and doing this and doing that. I would go months and not see people, and I would be fine with that. You call it being a homebody. I was depressed. I didn't want to deal with anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. But when I see you out, you would never know what I'm dealing with on the inside. Because, everybody said I was strong. I'm not strong, I was vulnerable, And so, piggybacking on therapy, someone asked me at work, she just lost her husband, and I was telling her, I've been in therapy all these years, and she said, well, why have you been in therapy for so long? And I said, because the thing about therapy is when you're in it, and you want to fix this, I want to get better at this, you realize, wait a minute, well now I want to work on this. Well now, wait a minute, that bothered me, now I want to work on this. And so you start to realize there's a lot of things you were dealing with, but you just never realized you were dealing with it. And so therapy is a beautiful thing. I was also asked in that same conversation, well, what about your faith? And I said, well, what does the Bible say about faith? Because I can have faith, but if I don't put in the work, then it's not going to do anything. So I still have to work on me, even with my faith. Right now I'm in school. I'm so close to finishing this degree. My faith is I'm going to finish this semester with all these A's, but I got to put in the work. I got to study. I got to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And so the example that I used in the car was, if you go looking for a job, you got to go on the interview. You got to put in the work. So that's the same thing with therapy. And you don't have to go to therapy, let me say this, because you feel like something is wrong with you. You could want to go to therapy because you can say, I want to be a better version of myself for me, not for somebody else. Because you don't have to be a better version of yourself for your spouse, for your children, for your community. You can just literally want to be a better version of yourself for you, because you have to live with you every single day. And I think that's what has been most important for me in therapy is I love my husband, but I'm not doing this for him. I love my children, but I'm not doing this for them. Because if I'm okay, they're okay. That's the way I look at it.
So, I know you just said if you're okay, they're okay. But really thinking about not getting into your business too much, but are we really okay?
No.
Are we really okay? Let me, as a man of faith, I can't get away from my faith, and I think all of us on this platform tonight have faith in the God of our salvation. And to your point, Tasha, you just said something. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But faith without works, action, is dead. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. So if I really put all three of those passages together, then our journeys are really journeys of faith. Faith in the one that we know is able to heal. And not only that, but faith, we must have faith in ourselves that, as you just stated, you're doing this for you. You've got to put everyone else to the side, because truth be told, as great as we are on this, everybody on stage is just all this, we all this, all this. But as good as we are, at some point in time, our name is going to go on the tombstone. At some point in time, we hope it's a long, long time from now. Long time. Long. But at some point in time, our picture is going to be on some funeral home's page. At some point in time, and thinking about that can be scary. Because if you're not careful, you'll die because you're afraid to die. Because the moment that you feel a bump, oh God, is this some type of, the moment that headache lasts 2 days longer, you wondering, is this something else? So our journeys are really faith journeys, because if we fail to put it in action, we succumb to what we're dealing with, right? And so I think from what I'm hearing from each and every one of you is, one, I want to live, okay? I want to live, but I want to live in my own normalcy. Your normalcy, all of our normalcies are not the same. And it's okay that our normalcies are not the same. You can have two people, same age, come out of the same household, same mom and daddy, they're still not the same. Because no one that has been created, there's never a duplication of who you are. Never will ever be another Jamar Escott. They can name them that, but they won't be like me. I'm the only Jamar that. So when we think about it like that, and I'll say that in a prideful way, when we should take stock in who God is. He has allowed these burdens to be placed on us for some reason. And I'm gonna ask a question, but I'm just kind of paint this picture, because we think about this one. Faith, right? Some things, so we got faith, and faith without works is dead. Why you? Why couldn't it have been the person that you grew up with that made the wrong turn in life? Why could it not have been the person down the street from you? Why you? Why has this burden of mental health not, it's real in America, but why is it situated on your couch in your living room? Every day you come home, there it is sitting on your couch saying, I'm here. We go, we talk about the therapy, this is real talk, right? So as we are trying to overcome, the reality is, after going to therapy and praying and worshiping, all that we do, we still come home after we take the mascara, take the wig and the lashes and put all that to the side. And we're our real selves. And men have wigs too, but I ain't got one. But I'll start thinning out here. It's there. Sitting on the edge of your bed. When you get up in the morning and your eyes wake up and you realize that I'm alive, it says, wait a minute, I'm here and I'm gonna make sure that you're here, because I'm gonna let you feel something today. You look on your phone and you see, and this is where I'm going with my question, tariffs. You see cuts to Medicaid, and you see cuts to education. In the Department of Education, we see, I look a little further and I see the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, that's working 24/7, that gave us all of the information during the pivotal moments of COVID-19. They're trying to strip all of that away. When I'm seeing this, it's everywhere on your phone. So it's everywhere. And when you're seeing this on your phone, no doubt, your mental health takes a toll. Because now you're worried about, eggs used to be a couple of $2 or $3. Now you're talking about $9. Now, for those that are more of the elite, you say dozen, but I say carton. A carton of eggs is $9. In New York, I heard they were $19 for a carton of eggs. So now I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to make this stretch? Because at Waffle House, it's 50 cents extra And that's why I normally go to get scrambled eggs because I don't want to do it at the house. So now when I go to Waffle House, they charge me 50 cents, not for eggs, but for every egg I get, because I get an omelet with 3 eggs. 50 cents per egg. So my question is, with looking at what's going on in America, now I don't want to make this political, but I really want to kind of drive this in. When you're looking at your phone, and when you're looking at social media, how does that affect you in your day-to-day life? And how does that make you when you're raising your children, when you're interacting with your spouses? Because the thing is, nobody knows how you feel like you do. You know, you can be in the bed with your spouse, and as much as y'all are, because the two are one, right? But they can't feel the pain you feel. So how do I tell you that I'm hurting somewhere that I can't touch because this issue, and I know you love me, right? I know you love me. That's why we still married, because love, you know. But how do you function when you are the one that has this burden day in and day out? How do you function? All right, let me stop it. Go.
I can say that the first question you asked about how does the things that are happening around this world, what's going on in today's time, affect you. For me, with my anxiety, it makes my mind race all the time, especially at night. When I lay down to go to sleep, and I'm trying to just relax from the day, my mind is going like I'm running a track. And it's replaying things that have happened, things I need to do. Why haven't I done this? Or did you check on that? And all the things that are happening in the world. Am I gonna be able to send my daughter to school? Am I gonna be able to pay for our mortgage? Are we gonna be able to do all these things because of all the things that's happening? And so your mind just takes it and runs with it. And as far as, your spouse, I can tell him, but again, it's hard for you to experience or be able to express something that you cannot see because it's inner, right? So I'm still working on that one because I don't know how to display how my anxiety is really affecting me internally, other than and my way of expressing my anxiety is anger. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, you're just being hateful." Well, most of the time, if I am being snappy about something, it's because my anxiety is wrapped up. So that is how I portray it. And a lot of the times, and I'll say most of the times, I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be attacking. I don't want to be aggressive. I don't want to. But my anxiety will push me to that point.
Well, I don't have kids, and I don't have a husband. Yet. But let me just, but that's all right, I'm patient. But let me just say, first of all, nobody can tell you how you feel unless they've been there. They cannot relate. Luckily, my mama is my saving grace, because I can go to my mom and I can say, I'll call her sometime when I'm at work, because my anxiety cuts up real bad at work right here lately. And I'll call her and I'll say, Mama, I just don't know. I don't know what's going on. And I'm talking without a minute. I'm like, Christina, my mind, I'm like, Lord, please just turn it off. Cause I mean, it literally drives you bananas. And it's ongoing. And so when I come in and I too express my anxiety sometimes with aggravation. I'm aggravated. My mind has gone so much. I'm tired, I'm aggravated, I've worked all day, I gotta come home, I gotta do homework, I gotta cook food, I gotta make sure my mom's okay, and everything. And so a lot of times when I lash out, it's not that I'm mad at my mama or mad at my little Brooklyn when she comes spend the night. I'm aggravated. Yeah. Because my anxiety is on 10. I'm just overstimulated. And so with the way the work, I'm telling you, I have been in the grocery store, going down the aisles, counting my little money, looking at the prices, and saying, "Oh my God, y'all, I ain't gonna have no money. How am I gonna let me put this back?" And literally at the register, like, "Lord, please let me have no money. Let me do that." It is constant. It's constant. And I about a month ago, every time I go to the grocery store, I get dizzy. So what in the world is going on? What is it? Every single time I hit the grocery store, I'm dizzy. And I said, and then my heart started racing. And then I'm starting to panic. And then I'm like, okay, let me just get what I'm getting. I'm just get a little bit, and I gotta go. And then, not only that, you got people in the aisles that's in the way. You aggravated because your anxiety. But I'm telling you, unless somebody has experienced it, you can't. It's hard to explain to somebody and let them know how you can say, I mean, I got a lot going on and I'm anxious, but they still not gonna understand. They're still not gonna be like, oh, just relax.
Yeah.
Now that aggravates me even more. That aggravates me even more. For somebody to tell me, just relax. You can't tell me to relax. This isn't the way you ain't thinking what I'm thinking. Your mind is not going like mine is going. Don't tell me to relax. Oh, well, nothing against God, but somebody said, well, you know, you got. I've been praying. Don't tell me that. I know that's what I gotta do. Right? But until somebody has gone through it and they don't know, they'll never understand. It's hard to explain it to your husband whenever I get one. But it's hard to explain to other people, really.
I do want to add something really quick to what she was saying too. You have to get a support person. That is vital, especially whenever you have anxiety or depression. You know, I have quite a few. You know, I have my husband, and I call my mother, my sisters. I'll call them and say, I need you to just tell me it's gonna be okay. My daughter got in a car accident, totaled the car, and I'm like, we just bought that car not even a month ago. How we gonna get another one right now? And I called my sister and I said, I just need for you to tell me it's gonna be okay. And she said, Chris, it's gonna be okay. And sometimes that's all we need to hear.
Right.
Not fix it or how it's gonna get fixed or nothing, just that it's gonna be okay. And sometimes those words alone will help our mind not race as much. So having a support person is huge.
So what you're saying is affirmation.
Correct.
Affirm that I see where you're at,
Yep.
but I also realize in my limited ability, I can still support you in some way because sometimes support doesn't always mean fix it.
Correct.
Because I may not want you to fix it. Because I know how I'm programmed and the way that I needed to be fixed, the way that I'm wired, you may cause more trauma by you trying to fix it. So I just need you to affirm, and I think that's what you said. What you said is I know we're getting to, is sometimes you, like I said, you need someone to say, and this isn't amazing how in that moment you can be at a 10, and that person saying, not, now we love the Lord. We do. I mean it. We love him. That's why we're here. But in that moment, I don't want you choking me with Jesus. I know what his word says. But right now, I'll be honest. Sometimes in that moment, I'm trying to figure out, I know he's real. But where is he at?
Yes.
No, if we be honest, I'm not being blasphemous at all. I'm speaking from where is he? Why am I feeling this pain? I've taken the medication and I still feel this pain. Still cannot rest. Still can't go to sleep. I feel the same way for the past 2 weeks, and I've been to 5 different doctor's appointments. They still don't know what's going on with me. So in that moment, I think that what we can attest to is, and this is how you that may have loved ones that are dealing with this can help them, is by affirming. it's gonna be okay. And it's amazing how it's gonna be okay, or just someone else on the other end, not trying to fix it, but just letting you know it's gonna be okay, can do it. That's my cue to let you talk. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the best way to help someone is to ask them, how can I help you? What do you need from me? Because like if I'm talking to my husband sometimes, I don't want you to say nothing. I just want you to listen. Just listen to what I'm saying. And I told him one day, like Christina said, words of affirmation for her. For me, it's sometimes I just want to hug. When you hug me, if I'm feeling anxious, I can feel myself come down. So it's different for different people. Ask, just be, I don't know, how can I help you? That's what I ask my little first graders when they come up, Miss Cofield, how can I help you? Because there's no need for me to do 1 through 5 if you need 6. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes just ask.
Well, I think we're at a point where we're going to have a break. All right, so welcome back to Real Talk, and certainly we have had an amazing dialogue so far as it relates to mental health, and thank our audience and you that have been so patient in being a part, and our panelists who have been doing an amazing job. So I kind of tried to figure out how to reintroduce and how to pick back up. I just kind of want to start from here. We covered a lot, and there's so much to cover even more. However, I want to let's go a little bit further, if I may. When you hear America and mental health in the same sentence, so think about what's going on within our country, the climate, everything that's going on with that, and mental health. What comes to your mind? Do you feel that the system or that the country in which we're in, our community, let me just say it like that, but I think especially, is a safe place, a safe space for us?
I'm going to say no, it's not a safe space right now in the climate that we're in. Being that I work at the hospital, we see a lot of mental health patients, a lot, more than I have seen. This year has been mind-blowing, the amount of people that have came involuntarily or voluntarily for help. And it's because there's the lack of resources. There's no place for people to go. And so they don't know what to do or what avenues to take in order to be able to get through their crisis at the time. So right now we're in a vulnerable situation, you know.
Anyone else?
It's not a safe, it's really not a safe space right now. For those who are struggling with mental health, as Christina said, especially in healthcare, it's not talked about enough. It's not addressed enough. It's not an important diagnosis. And to some, it's not even real. And so in the climate that we're in, it's very high anxiety, a lot of uncertainty. So there aren't a lot of resources, and there are a lot of people who don't have insurance and who don't have these things that they need to get the mental health that they need. So it's really not, it's not enough offered for people.
I also think it's not a safe space. So they're in healthcare, I'm in education. So I see a lot of children that deal with a lot, but it's not always looked at, or it's labeled as behavior. They're bad kids, but it's something else. So I feel like that's not addressed as well. I feel like when it comes to healthcare and women like me, we deal with postpartum, but that's never something that's brought to us. Women that don't look like us, it's immediate. you're dealing with postpartum, and they have a plethora of resources. But women that look like me, Christina, who had children, it's never postpartum for us. You're just emotional. You know, you're just going through a lot. Yeah, I am going through a lot. I just birthed a human. I am going through a lot. My body has done a lot. So I think it is a lack of resources, and sometimes it's just when it comes to education, they don't want to deal with it.
I would agree, it's not a safe space. But in all intents and purposes, I don't think America was created to be a safe space for us. So they're just following the traditions and pattern of what it was created for. I agree there aren't enough resources. It is looked at as taboo. I remember growing up, one of my cousins was going through something. She told one of the older members of my family, I think I'm depressed, I don't know what's wrong. And the older member said, you're not depressed, you're fine. So she just dismissed how she was feeling. So I think that happens a lot. And so people can retreat and just say, well, never mind, maybe I'm not feeling anything, or I'll deal with it myself. And so that causes this ripple effect of people just not getting the help they need because they just, one, don't feel like they have the support, two, feel like they don't have the resources, three, feel like it's taboo, so I'll just keep it to myself and deal with it the best I know how.
So we're in a climate where we are forced in this great nation, in our communities that we live in, to try to function as best as we can with what we're dealing with. And so with acknowledging, excuse me, that we feel like this is not a safe place, safe space for us, how do we cope in this society? So if it's not, we've identified it as not, but we still want to live, right? We still want to function. We're parents, we're sisters, we're brothers, all that, whatever we are, aunties and all this. We still want to keep, it would be one thing if we just want to die, right? We just, all right, well, let's let it take us over. But when you want to live and you have goals and you have dreams and you have ambitions, because just because you have mental illness and mental issues that attach themselves to you does not mean that you don't have dreams. It just, to me, it means you've got to push even harder. Because you, again, I think it might have been Christina, what you're dealing with cannot be seen with the visible eye. Now, if I can kind of intertwine this a little bit, we do fight against someone that we can't see with a physical eye. We deal with someone who we can't see. We deal with someone every day who his job is to kill, steal, and destroy. And since I feel at liberty to say this because we're all people of faith, I think we know that there are targets on our backs because outside of us being, who we are as people of color, or however you want to put it, but when we say we belong to Him, we have an adversary who heard us when we said that. And his job is to get us to the point to where we renege on what we said, or to make us feel like the God that we said that is more than enough when I'm going through all that I'm going through. Where is He at now? Because this is what we'll hear people say. If He's real, you wouldn't be going through that. If He is real, why is your prayers not being heard? If He is real, why are you unable to sleep at night? I'm good over here. Why are you going? And so we're almost forced to really come to, because I think we've painted a picture of religion too, that religion means I come and I sit on my seat and I carry my Bible and I'm a Christian. But when we really think about what it means to be a part of His army and to belong to Him, it entails, we go through trials and tribulations. But He tells us, and I'm not preaching, but He tells us that in this world, we're going to have tribulations. But even through mental health issues, he says, be of good cheer, because I have overcome the world. Everything that we can face, he has already overcome it. And we have someone, he tells us that we have a high priest. He's sovereign, that can feel the way that we feel. So when husband, when mother, when daughter, when father, whoever cannot empathize with us, they cannot understand, we have somebody that we can say, I'm hurting, and I'm hurting from a place I don't even know what my name is right now. If you ask me my date of birth, I don't even know what my date, because your mind can run so fast. Sometimes, I don't know if y'all have been there, where your mind is running so fast, I'll say to myself, make sure I ain't going crazy. What's my social security number? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what's my date of birth? because your mind can run so fast that literally you think you're going crazy. You know, it used to be, and I'm gonna open it up. It used to be the seasoned saints would say, when they go in the room, they forget where they came in, and so, but I've learned, and I'm not even 40 yet, I can go in a room and completely forget what I came in there for, but I have to be careful, because this device right here will have me Googling, okay, I'm a 37-year-old male, and I forgot what I came in the room, and it's gonna make me think I have something that I don't. So now I take on what it says that I have. So I'm becoming what it says rather than becoming who he says. And so what I'm trying to get to, so I can make way for y'all to talk, I'm doing something, is how do we, in all that we're dealing with, now we're gonna blend faith, because we are people of faith, with what we deal with. Because we know we've been told that, you got Jesus, he more than enough, all that. But is it true that I can still have Jesus and a therapist at the same time?
Yes, and that's what I was gonna say. God put these people here for us. Okay? They are here for us. They are here for what we need. And so that's where I had to get past, oh my gosh, I don't trust God if I'm seeing somebody. When God put them here for us, they are here for us. Get some help. They are here for us. It's okay. It's really okay. You can love Jesus and have a therapist. Because, and let me just say this real quick. Get you somebody that don't know you and you don't know. Okay? Get you a therapist that is not going to be biased. Somebody that's gonna help you. But anyway, but yes, God put therapists here for us to take advantage of that, just like he put doctors here, just like he put teachers here, just like he put medical professionals. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. So if you get that in your mind, that God has placed this help here for me, he loves me so much that he has somebody here for me, then I think that will increase the faith, because you know that God has this person here for you. Now make sure it's the right one, but that God has someone here. He loves us so much that he has placed people for our need, for our mental health need.
And I'm gonna go just a step further. And it's okay to have medicine.
It is.
It's okay. It's the same thing as if you have high blood pressure, you're gonna take that blood pressure medicine so that blood pressure don't get too high. Me personally, I take my medicine every single day, and y'all want me to take it too. Because at the end of the day, that helps me to function. And everybody has the stigma against taking medication and but you take it for everything else. If you have cancer, you're not gonna take chemo? No, that's not. Now some people do. Some people do. They have cancer, they don't treat it. And that's your choice. But my choice is gonna be to live life to the best of my ability. And just like God has given therapists, they've given people to have enough knowledge and intelligence to know what to put inside of that pill to help my anxiety.
Amen. That's right. There's nothing wrong with I take it too. And like Chris said, you won't be the same. It's okay, it really is okay. You know, I mean, it's for, it's for us. It's for us, y'all. It's okay. Don't let nobody tell you don't need no medicine. Just pray about it. No, you need your medicine and you need prayer. And that's just being transparent. If we're gonna talk about this subject and be real, you just gotta be real. I'm not gonna let nobody tell me not to take my medicine. If I need it, I'm gonna take it. I got diabetes and I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take my medicine for that. So it's the same thing. I think that people don't think that it's a real diagnosis, but it's real. Anxiety is real. Depression is real. OCD is real. Have somebody being schizophrenic, it's all real. It is a diagnosis. Don't let nobody tell you it's not a diagnosis. And there's no such thing. Oh, and it's just the enemy. It is a real diagnosis. And if people realize that it is a real diagnosis and that it's just not in their mind, more people would understand there's help, right? But because, so it is a stigma. It is, oh, it ain't real. You ain't really depressed. You just, you know. It is a real diagnosis. It's real. I am a firm believer that get some help. Don't walk around here like I was, not knowing which way to go, wanting to end it all. Get some help. Get some help.
So, for you two have said that you take medicine, right? Is it the medicine that is sustaining you, or is there something working through the medicine?
I say that it's something working through the medicine because, I mean, just like with anything else, if you don't take your blood pressure medicine, it's gonna be high, right? So they had to put something in the medication to make it work so it can sustain you, right? So I feel like it's something in the medicine that's sustaining you, and the medicine helps. Not saying that God is not a part of that. Again,
That was my point. When you take the medicine, is it the medicine that's keeping you, is it keeping you going, or is it him using?
yeah, I feel like it's him using it.
So
It gave them the knowledge to be able to say, okay, in order for them to get through these trials or whatever, or this depression, they're gonna need this and this and this and this right here, and that's gonna help them.
So he can use medication even in anxiety and mental health issues to heal you and to allow you
He
to.
does it other ways, not only in mental health, he does it in other ways. So I think my thing is what's different than, why is mental health so different than anything else, right? That deals with the body.
So is it because, I think we're getting to, so when we think about that, we take what we take as people of faith by faith, right? So we know that ultimately we can take it, but unless he's in the midst, it ain't gonna work. We know a lot of people that is dealing with what we're dealing with a lot worse off. The fact that we are on this stage tonight and no one has had an anxiety attack, no one has passed out, is grace and mercy. I mean, we face facts, cameras on, everything, so getting to this next one is where I kind of want to hang my hat here. Is it possible? And I'm not trying to pin anything on. I'm just asking. Do you think it's possible? No, let me ask it this way. Could it be that your mental health situations has been a portal, a way, has been a mechanism, whatever you want to use, that God has allowed for you to be a part of, for you to get closer to him?
Yes,
Definitely. I do. I have thought that I'm going through this because God wants more
more of me. And I know that even though I do see a therapist, and even though I do take medicine, ultimately, he's the one that's gonna bring me out. And I'm just so grateful. I am grateful because I know that if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. I know that if it wasn't for God giving me the mind to say, yeah, you need some help, I wouldn't be here. So to that, I owe all of that to him. And so, absolutely, I even though we're going through, even though we have our own issues, and even though we're going through the depression, anxiety, or whatever, we know that's what makes the difference, right? Somebody who doesn't know God and has mental health issues is different. It's a different walk for them, because there's you see somebody who's like really, you know that it's a mental issue, and they don't know that God can help, that God can heal. We know. We know what he can do. Yes, does our faith waver? Yes, does that my mind teeter-totter? And yes, does I'm like, God, where are you? Like you said, I have so many questions. I have so many, why God? Why am I the only one struggling? I know I'm not, but I'm talking to God. I've learned to be transparent with God. He knows already, right? But he wants us to be honest about our problems. And don't go to him with all this fancy talk, Lord, I just want to. No, God, I'm going through, and I'm about to lose my mind. And if you don't come help me, I don't know what I'm going to do. So recognizing who he is, knowing that he is in our lives, and knowing that's what we know. It's a difference when you don't know. But we know. But that doesn't negate the struggle.
That's right. Anyone else? So,
sorry, we can surmise that. So we're going into by the head Passion Week, right? We this is the pinnacle of our faith, Jesus and what he did, and so Sunday is Palm Sunday, where he comes in and he's riding on the. And I'm not preaching y'all, but I'm trying to just I got the mic, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So you're on Sunday, you're dealing with this, where they're throwing out all these branches and they're coming in and they say, Hosanna. Something happens on Friday where he's in the garden and he's like, wait a minute, I don't want to, okay, I thought I was, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. But he says something that changes the whole text. I'm not going to get happy, but I ain't going to try to not. As he's pouring out his heart to the Father, let this cup pass. I don't want to deal with it. I thought I wanted this. I don't want to do it. Y'all know the story. Y'all know, okay. Then he says, all right, nevertheless, not my will. Your will be done. When we think about how he was in agony and he made a decision to say, you know what? Because that didn't remove the hurt. Hurt was still there. He still had to go through. He had some more he had to go through. But he makes a mental decision. We talking about mental health. Click, click, Service used to say, click, click. He goes through in his mind and he says, okay, it's the way that I'm looking at this. Not what I want, but it's what you want. And I think the common denominator with all of us on this stage tonight, particularly you, the panelists, is you have been given a lot. You have been given a care. You have been given, in some aspects, a burden to carry that is, in many aspects, unfair. Many aspects, it makes you wonder. Some days, am I going or am I coming? It makes you wonder, do I need to go down and plan some stuff? Do I need to go ahead and do, because you can have some really rough days. And not everybody's days are like that. But what I'm saying is, there's a reason that even with all that you've gone through, you're still standing and you're sitting on this stage with your right mind, no straight jackets. You're well put together, nobody's foaming at the mouth. You're dressed up. I'm talking to y'all, y'all talking back to me. So there's a grace that he has given each and every one of you. He says, I ain't gonna take away the mental health issue, but I am gonna give you my grace. And my grace is more than enough to get you through it. He says it's sufficient. In other words, it is enough so that when you feel like snap, crackling, and popping, he says in the nick of time, when you feel like your mind is gonna go, he said, I'm gonna snatch your mind because I am your keeper. And when we think about sleepless nights and those days where you laid in the bed and like, I don't feel like getting up, quit calling me because I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to hear nothing. And you think about your journey, 3 years, 20 years, 15 years, who has been, and there's only one, who has been weaving, who has been the one sustaining and waking you up every day. Every day. Even though some days are painful, the grief is still there. Every day he said, I'm wake you up. And every day he wake you up, he give you some new mercies. And he say, you know what, yesterday was a hard day, but guess what? Swing it again. Because I'm still here with you. And everything that you go through, I've already gone through it. Here's the good news. Here's the good news before I turn over. Is at some point in time, we're really going to be able to say victory belongs to us. We're going through this for a purpose. And I think the purpose is not just for Christina, Leisha, Tasha, or Tiffany. I think the purpose is because the world needs to know that if he can keep these people up here safe on days they don't feel like they safe, on days when they don't feel like they want to be bothered, on days when they feel like giving up, that if he can keep them sane, if he has no respect of person, what he's done for them, he can do the same thing for you. So I guess I'm throwing back to you all. Any closing remark, regarding if to someone that may be going through their dark moments. So suppose y'all been going through for how long, and I don't use that to glorify him in the devil. I use that to say we know he's a keeper. But if there's advice that you could give to family or give to someone that is, let's just say they're just starting their mental health journey today. The day they just decided, you know what, I'm going to live. The day I'm going to get help. The day I'm going to, what advice would you give them? What advice would you give them?
I would give the advice of the same way you set boundaries for you physically, set boundaries for your mental health. Don't let people tell you what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. This is not real, that's not real. Because I say this all the time. Don't invalidate my feelings. Because like Christina said, you can't see it. You don't see my depression, but I feel it. So don't invalidate what I'm feeling. You have to set a boundary around it, and you have to be committed to wanting better for yourself. Because you can keep saying it, and you can go to the church, and you can lay on the altar every Sunday if you want to, but you still got to do a little bit of work on yourself. You have to. So that my biggest advice is set a boundary around your mental health, and also know, not just necessarily in our families, it's hard to set boundaries because that's my aunt, that's my this, that's my that. You got to be there for family. You can't say that, but I have had to learn in the past 10 years dealing with my grief, especially with people that are the closest to me, to set a boundary. You will not do that to me. We're not doing that. And it's gotten to a point where it is respected now. And I think that's where you have to get with your mental health. You have to respect where I am and where I'm trying to go. And you can go with me or you can stay.
I would say, don't be ashamed. Don't feel like there's anything wrong with you. Reach out to get help if you need it. Look up any resources. Reach out to any of us. I'm sure everybody's open to being any resource of any help that we can be. And also, it's very important to find you a safe space, a safe physical space. If you're having a moment, you just need to calm down, just do some breath exercises, whatever may help for you, whatever kind of exercise. And also, very important, find you some sort of support that you can lean on, that you can be open with, that you can cry with. I use the example, a lot of people consider me, I'm quiet. They tell me I'm soft-spoken, and I am, but my friends consider me the strong friend, because I keep the face, like I just keep it together. It just looks like I'm pulled together, and they don't see me go home alone, and they don't see me at night when I can't sleep. But there are certain friends that I feel safe enough with that I can lean on and say, I'm not okay today. Is that all right? So to me, that's very, very important. That would be my suggestion.
Good.
Mine would be, just like Tasha said, protect your peace. Protect your peace and give yourself grace. And know that, like I said in the beginning, it's not a quick fix. It may take us some time, but give yourself grace and know that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to have bad days, and it's okay to go to someone and just say, I need some help. That's the most important thing.
I would say, know that you are not alone. You're not alone, especially you have God, because He's always there. But you're not alone because there are other people who are going through this with you, right? There are other people who can relate with you. And so I want to say thank you, Jamar, for having this, because I feel like this platform is needed, because just because somebody looks a certain way does not mean that they're not going through something. Right. So one thing that I would say is, don't just look at other people around you and say, they can't be going through what I'm going through. You don't know. So don't put that on yourself, right? Find help for you, and don't be talking to a whole lot of people. Find you that, like she said, that one person who you can depend on, that you can rely on, that you can really show yourself to, and it's gonna get you straight to. You know, I have those support people who I'm like, yeah, I just need you to tell me I'm okay. And then I have some that'll be like, okay, now look, you gotta get in the grip. We gotta get back on track. Because you do need that as well. Because sometimes with that anxiety, you can spiral out of control. And so you need somebody who can say, we're not gonna do that today, because everything's gonna be okay. So find that person.
Well, we've heard from the panel. Now we want to lean to the audience. So if there's a question or a comment, you feel free to raise your hand. Keep it real, but keep it respectful. So if there's any questions or comments from the audience, we will now have a segment of Q&A.
First of all, I want to say I thank God for Pastor Cobb doing this. Because in our Black church, we want to, as they say, brush things up under the rug. Like this is not an existing thing. And it is an existing thing. And I'm talking from experience where I've dealt with mental illness myself. I had childhood scars and wounds, and my family believed in take it to the Lord in prayer, and that's it. I didn't start getting the help that I needed until I was an adult. And even with that, I had to get more help. And I just want to say, like you were saying, you need somebody to help you that's going to also give you constructive criticism. I want to tell you, Elder Joanne Yates is my person. People may look at Gail and say, you got it all together, but you never know. I don't have it all together. I was preaching the gospel, but not totally living it, because I had resentment in my heart against my mother for staying with my father after he molested me. And I'll never forget the night I went over to Elder Yates' house. She anointed me with oil, and she said, you got to let the resentment go, because you can't preach forgiveness if you're not living forgiveness. And I just thank God for her being that person for me, and Elder Cobb for helping me as well. But I encourage everybody, if you got a mental health issue, get some help. Because Jesus himself said that those that are not well don't need a physician. But if you got health issues, even mental health, God has placed doctors for us to do that. And I encourage anybody, please get the mental help that you need, because people dealing with mental health issues, it's a fact.
Yeah.
And like Tasha was saying, I'm going to school, you saying, Gail, you just crazy. No, Gail has mental health issues that I dealt with from my father and stuff, and I acted all out, looking for love in all the wrong places, and my love was not in a man, but in the man. Finally. And so please, y'all, get mental help. Go talk to somebody. It's no harm in it. The harm is knowing that you're sick and don't get some help for it.
That's right. That's right.
First of all, thank you, Pastor Jerome, for having this event. I think the way and the care that you've had for our panelists and the way you have just led them into each question has been very powerful, very open, and just created such a warm environment. Shout out to the panelists for being vulnerable. It is so encouraging, and my why today is just to be a sister. It's to be that listening ear. It's to be that just showing up and just being there, and just sometimes I might not have the right things to say, but just to give that support. So that's what got me up today, and I want to know from the panelists, what is your why today? I know with all the obstacles and all the responsibilities and all of the different things that you have in front of you, what gets you up out of that bed and keep you going, and what doesn't hold you back?
Well, for me, it's my kids. I know that they're looking at me. They're watching my every move, everything that I do. I can see some of the things that I do. I can see in them because they're watching me, right? So that's my why, because I don't want them to suffer or go through anxiety as long as I did without getting the help. I want them to be able to say, yeah, my mom suffered from anxiety, and if I have any issues, I want to go forward. I want to get help with it. That is my why. And I don't want them to look at me and say that my life revolved around it. Right.
I don't have kids, but I would say my why is me. Like I went back to the story of me turning 31, and that's when I realized I don't know who this person is anymore. I don't ever want to get back to that. So that's why I do it. I do it every day for me, because I want to be the best me that I can be, like Tasha said.
My why is my children, myself and my children. I have a daughter who's a freshman in college, and I have a freshman in high school. And school these days is very different. So I need for me to be the best version of me, so that when my children come to me and they need me, I can be mama. Because if I'm always depressed and I'm always in the bed and they need me, I can't be there and show up for them. Because if my child in Greensboro calls me, I need to be able to show up immediately if she needs me. So I fight every single day for my children.
My why is also me, because I have goals and I have things that I am trying to accomplish, and I know that if I keep fighting, I can accomplish those goals. And also my mom. I take care of my mom. I want to be there for my mom, and I want her to know that she can lean and depend on me. Like I said, I don't have any kids, but that's my why. It's me and my mom and my other family.
And she's got a great mom. I've been sitting by her this whole time. Who's next? Any other questions? Anybody?
I have a comment. I look at my daughter go through so much anxiety, and I feel guilty that she went through so much when my husband was abusive and she saw this. She always tried to be the one who got his attention off me. She was the peacemaker, and I think that is what started all of this anxiety. And I'm just so proud of her, and I'm proud of every one of you on this panel. You are special people, and you bring about special things for us. And I thank Pastor Cobb, because this had to be God sent. It had to be, because we need it. I've been through depression. I had to get a therapist. And even now at night, I have anxiety, I have panic attacks. But I know that my God, all I have to do, and I'll do scriptures when I'm going through, and that calms me. His spirit just overwhelms me, and I can feel it. And I feel so much better when this happens. And I don't want to tell anyone that I'm going through. I just lately told my daughter that I was having trouble with it. But I know that God is able. He's able.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I think if I may, to Sister Green, I think that we walk away tonight free. We walk away tonight with liberty, knowing that even those things that may have happened in the past, we leave it where it is. And we are overcomers of that. And you saying yourself, I had a talk with God last night, and He told me that He would work out everything all right. If I hold on, keep the faith, the Lord will make a way. Things are going to work out all right. And we know somehow, some way, things are going to work out. Hold on, and it's going to be real soon. And so we're all tonight in the same boat, whether we realize it or not. We're in the same boat. We're taking one day at a time. And that's all we can do, is take one day at a time and be the best that we can every day. And when we have an off day, it's okay to know we off, because you need to know you have an off day. The problem is when you have an off day, but you don't know you off. But when you know you off, when you know you're off and you're having an off day, knowing how to handle that offness. If that means I need to pull back, if that means I gotta do not disturb is your best friend. In times when you need to pull back, and sometimes, and we're closing, but I've had people to call and say, you're not answering your phone. And I want to say, I didn't answer my phone intentionally because I had to protect my peace. I knew what, you know, some people that pop up on your phone, you know they're calling for it. And I just don't have the mental energy to entertain that today. I love it, but I can't answer this phone call. And so we have to protect our peace, because our peace is on our, if we don't have our peace, we can't be our best selves. And so I want to thank the panelists for being transparent, for being honest, for showing up, for being willing and consent. We didn't have to pay them. I want to thank you all so much for doing what you've done. Now, I'm under the impression that we didn't say everything that we could say in one night. So I've already asked them, and we'll talk about it, see what it looks like. But I would really love to have you ladies back again to do a part 2, because I feel that there's so much more that we can talk about, and there's more lives that need to be touched. Each of us have stories, but they're testimonies of the keeping power of the God that we serve. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules and all that. Thank you so much to Angie for directing and just absolutely amazing. I called her and she was right on it. And so thank you so much, Angie. She is a trooper, very active within our community, and shout out to her. She's very humble, but thank you so much for coordinating this. And what do you need from the Google form and everything. She created it, and thank you so much. The flyer she made. Thank you so much for doing what you did, and you did it with love. So I want to say thank you so much for that. Thank you to Kevin and Tim. Tim standing up at the hall back there. Thank you for the lights and the cameras and all that. I'll say this, and I have a moment. What's the moment? Come on, okay. Angie said, "What's your budget?" I said, "I don't have a budget. I didn't. I just tell me what it is." And she got with Kevin, and Kevin came in, and he did not even charge us for video, for video option. So thank you. Thank you. I have something we have something for you both, for taking the time out of your schedule. And I know he's back there fanning his camera, so I think it may be running hot there. But thank you everyone that came tonight. Did y'all enjoy it? Yeah. Would y'all like a part 2? All right, they said it, so we're gonna get with your schedules, and we're going to make part 2 happen again. Again, everyone be safe. And allow me, let's close out tonight. I know this is not religious, but I am just compelled to close us out in prayer. We don't know what each individual may be dealing with, and we don't know what our tomorrow looks like. Tomorrow may be a rough day, but we're optimistic about our tomorrow, that we know who's in our tomorrow. He's already in, that's the good news, he's already in tomorrow while we're just here today. And so we don't even have to worry about tomorrow, because he's working things out in our tomorrow while we're in our today. And so I don't want us to leave without praying, because I think that's what the world needs more of prayer. And knowing who we call on in times of help. When we need help, who do we call? And there's only one person I know that I can call him at 2:00 in the morning. And when he answers the phone, he doesn't have to clear his voice because he was asleep. Because he never slumbers nor sleep. And I can go to bed, even if I only get a couple of hours of sleep, I can sleep because he's watching over me. He dispatches his angels to my children while they're at daycare and school, and while I'm in the grocery store, and I don't even know we don't ever know who's beside us, in traffic, but we serve a supreme being that watches out for us, and so that's who we pray to. So on tonight, let's bow our heads as we close in prayer. Father, we're so grateful for this opportunity. We thank you for this platform, everything that's been said and done. And Father, I pray a special blessing on these panelists, that you would help them through their journey, that you would continue to be their strength. When their hearts are overwhelmed, lead them to the rock that's higher than them. Lord, let them know that in you there is safety. There's a safe place. And Father, I pray that you would just dispatch your angels and, Lord, give them sweet rest, peaceful sleep. Allow them to rest. Allow their minds to be at ease. We know that you're their help. You're their keeper. You hold the whole world in your hands. And we know that while mental health is real, It's nothing too hard that you can't solve. And so we thank you for this journey that we're on, because it keeps us near your feet, near your cross, leaning and depending on you. Help us, Lord, when we feel like giving up, give us the strength to keep on making it. Lord, help us to live. We decree and declare everyone on this stage will live and not die, that they will live and not die. They will see their dreams come true. They will see their goals come true. They will see longevity in their lives. They will not succumb to whatever they're dealing with. That God, they have mental health. Mental health does not have them. Continue to keep them as only you can. And God, if it be your will, we know that by your stripes we're healed. So Lord, we ask that, Lord, whatever stripe you took for our healing, allow healing to be our portion. But God, if it's your will for us to continue to carry these things, give us the grace to take it one day at a time. Give us benediction from this place, but never from your presence. Keep our cars in our lanes, other cars in their lanes. Allow us to get home and find things well. Wake us up in the morning for another day's journey. Give your name the glory, honor, and praise. And Lord, we pray that your stamp of approval is on tonight, is for your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, you may be dismissed.